And this is a very common thing that I've heard other empaths that I've coached and mentored go through, and I went through this my whole life. Of course, if you've been sexually abused or any sort of emotional manipulation growing up, this can be compounded tenfold. But we can easily be convinced that we are doing something wrong simply because we can feel into the reality so quickly. And when you have a codependent system that you can't feel, because if you were to feel the intensity of what you're doing when you are overpowering somebody, which is what happens in the lack matrix, the strong prey upon the weak, there's a sense of guilt because it feels innately wrong to do that. But then you can't feel that, so then you project that you're wrong and bad. They must deserve it. They're bad. You have to convince yourself that humans are bad in order to enslave humans. And then anyone who's empathic is feeling that strong energy of you're bad, and therefore will often, depending on how awake they are, play out that self-sabotaging program. Just believe at a core level that they're bad. Because an empath is almost like being equivalent to what the subconscious mind is. Think about the subconscious mind controls 90 to 95% of our reality. I've heard different statistics on this. But regardless, it's the majority of our reality. The subconscious mind believes things literally. It takes everything literally. It's like a sponge. And it's intuitive and feeling at the core. And it's extremely powerful. And so if you think about that, if you're deeply immersed in the story because you feel it, and you're primarily a feeling being, and the collective storyline is believing that it's wrong, that humans are wrong and bad and need to be punished, then you are empathing and playing out that scenario and can unwittingly be used as a pawn in that storyline. This is why empaths are often the whipping boy, or the one who gets the punishment, takes the punishment for everyone else. That's why Jesus was the ultimate empath. And Teal Swan said this once to me, that Jesus was the ultimate empath and lived the ultimate clairvoyant. And if you think about it like that, you can kind of understand your gifts a little more. And so the reason I'm saying this, one of your witchy senses, is that you can feel and empath the storyline of the grid, the main storyline that's going on. The reason I'm saying to unplug consciously from that storyline is because there's a virus in it that has been going on for centuries, and that virus is a program of self-sabotage. It's a core belief that humans are bad and that they need to be punished. And it's easy. I want you to really pay attention to leaders and public people when they speak. People channel all the time and don't realize they're channeling. And when everyone right now in the world is talking about the problem and solutions and who's to blame and who's at fault and who's right and who's wrong, and there's this kind of war going on in the collective. But if you listen to a lot of people, you will hear them talking. And if you listen to the spirit of what they're saying, to the essence, the spirit behind what they're saying, it is a self-hate spirit. And it's particularly a spirit that hates humanity, literally hates, and that sees humans as the worst thing that ever happened on the planet. Now the problem with that is if you're human and it's humans that are channeling this, it's a self-sabotaging program. And it's important to know that voice very distinctly, because otherwise, as an empath, you might pick up the virus, so to speak, and start playing out a self-sabotaging program. And this is when your gifts can be used as a weapon. And that is why I think it's really important to develop your discernment right now and listen for that voice. And just so you know, this program has infiltrated every area of our life. It's infiltrated churches and religion. It's infiltrated the government. It's infiltrated entertainers and artists, musicians. It's infiltrated writers. It's infiltrated across the board this general message that's going on in the collective that humans are bad and they need to be punished. If we accept that message, then guess what? We're going to be on a jihad mission to destroy humanity. Especially as an empath, I believe can be used in this tremendously, and we're the ones that will take it. It's a sort of sinister way that this abusive, codependent, sociopathic relationship with life works. You have to convince people that they're bad, and then they carry out their own punishment. So just think about that. I went a little deeper into that than I planned to, but pay attention to the story going on in the grid. So if you unconsciously unplug from this collective reality and consciously plug into the matrix of abundance, which is heaven on earth, which is people that are fully being restored to their program. And here's the thing to understand. Humans are not good or bad. We can be either, depending on what our primary operating system is telling us we are.